Hey everybody, this is PJ Riley from Lancaster Archery out here today to give you a bow hunting tech tip. What we're going to talk about today is picking a stabilizer for your hunting bow. Basically, some things that you're going to want to consider are, first, you need to know what it is the stabilizer does. Then you're going to have to think about what can it do for you to help you. You're going to want to think about stabilizer length. You're going to want to think about stabilizer weight, and then the weight distribution. So first off, what does a stabilizer do? Well, it performs two key functions, one of which is as a vibration and noise dampener. When you draw back the string on a compound bow and then release it, you're releasing a whole lot of energy that slams into the riser of this bow. Having a stabilizer that comes off the front, that can help absorb some of that vibration and noise from the shot. That's going to reduce the amount of shock that you feel in your hand, and it's going to reduce the amount of noise. You're a bow hunter, you want to be as quiet as possible. Second thing a stabilizer does is it actually stabilizes the bow as you're aiming. By having this object sticking out front, it puts some weight on the bottom of your bow underneath your hand, extends it out in front. That's going to help you when you're taking aim. It's going to slow down the oscillations of the pin. When you're at full draw and aiming, pin's going to dance around. Stabilizer can help minimize that and settle that pin down as you're taking aim. So now, not all stabilizers do all of those things. Here we have a stabilizer that is very flexible. This is almost all Navcom rubber material. You can see if I were to attach that in its place, it's going to be inside the limb pockets. A short stabilizer like this is going to be primarily for vibration dampening. At the other end of the spectrum, you have one like mine or one like this. This is a 12-inch bar. Okay, now this is a rigid bar all the way out with weight at the end. That's about 6 ounces of weight at the very end. But a 12-inch is about the maximum length for bow hunting stabilizers. Try a bunch of different stabilizers and see what works for you, which brings us to weight. How much weight do you want on that stabilizer? Well, what the weight does is you're going to want weight to be out in front of the bow. That's going to help you resist torquing. If you think about holding a dust broom out in front of you versus holding a broom, the broom is harder to move back and forth because it's resisting the torque. All that weight is out in front of you. Stabilizer functions the same way. The more weight you have out front, the harder it's going to be for you to torque that bow back and forth. It's going to make your pin settle down nicer. It's possible to have too much weight out front to where the bow just wants to pull forward all the time. Again, this is something you have to play with to see what works on your bow. If you find that your bow is wanting to tilt forward because of the weight on the stabilizer, you might choose to have a side rod, as this setup is. And what that does is it puts some weight behind the bow, below your hand and behind the bow. It'll help counterbalance that front stabilizer. It will bring it up. What it also does is, with hunting bows, I'm a right-handed shooter. You can see I've got my sight, I've got my rest, and I normally have my hunting quiver all on the right side of the bow. Without a stabilizer, or with just a front bar on there, the bow wants to tip to the right because of all the weight on this side of the bow. Having a side rod on the opposite side of the bow, it's going to bring that bow back to dead center, which is where I want it. So think about how you hunt when you're picking your bow hunting stabilizer. Think about length, think about weight. How much weight are you willing to carry into the woods? That's a factor. You may not want to carry very much. All these are factors for you to consider when you're picking your bow hunting stabilizer. Thanks for watching. If you got any questions, you can check us out at lancasterarchery.com.